Okay, so before starting with the live session, let me tell you, Geeks for Geeks has already done two amazing events before this, and this is our first Instagram live session with Samveg. And today we are going to be talking about all things related to MNCs, jobs, companies, and we will be taking all your doubts and queries. So if you have any questions, please drop in the comments below, and I will add the guest. Just wait so much. I hope you are able to see me as well. So let's just wait for the guest to add up. So guys, if you have any question, please put them in the comments and we will take it at the end. Hi Samveg.
Hey, hey, hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
So welcome to our first Instagram live session of Geeks for Geeks, HMR ITM.
Yep, thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, so I'm Samviti Bhardwaj and I'm the PR head of Geeks for Geeks HMR ITM. And today I will be the host for this session. So first I would like you to introduce us and to the audience who are watching right now.
Okay. So yeah, I'm Samvek Thakur. I am a software SD, basically software development engineer at Microsoft right now, and I am an ex-co-founder of a startup called Genitech Techware as well. So yeah, that's pretty much about me.
That's great. So like what developed your interest in programming?
Oh, that's a good question. So, I think as such, it was a slow process as usual. So, I am from an ICSC background basically up until my 10th standard. So, in ninth, we are introduced to BlueJ at that time. It was Java, but we used to call it BlueJ at that time. So, yeah, there
Okay.
were some basic problems over there, which you find me Armstrong problem or all those stuff, all basically logical stuff out there. So, we used to solve that for fun. So yeah, that seemed interesting. Then after 11, 12, I was pretty much focused on basically being a game developer. That was my aim, to be a game developer. Now I'm doing something completely different because as a boy you just start with, okay, computer science is gaming, nothing more than that. So when you gradually grow into the industry, okay, it's not gaming, it's something else. So yeah, that's how I ended up here.
All right. That's great. So like since there are so many languages out there and we see, like different technologies are coming every single day. So how would you suggest one should, pick their language or choose a language for themselves?
Yeah, so that's something I wanted to talk about today. It's, myself, because yeah, that's very common question for everyone out there who's starting as a
Hmm.
noob. So what we really suggest over things as well, wherever you go, wherever you read any experience of a very highly experienced programmer, not me. Definitely, I've read it somewhere else as well, right? What they say is don't go after a particular language, go after the basics of programming. Like that's why if you see over it, you are taught about oops, you are taught about
Hmm.
classes and inheritance and all those stuff in your initial semesters, and not C++ and data structure and algorithm. I always used to wonder and basically diss the curriculum of our college, that why are you teaching me theory? It should be directly coding. That would help me better. That's what practical is, or practicality is all about. But now when you know, okay, if you have the concepts of oops cleared, if you have the concepts of what functions are, how to call them, if you have concepts of recursion clear, if you have concepts of particular data structure clear, now the language does not matter, because आप कहीं भी काम करने जाओगे, wherever you work, right, you will
Right.
have a different tech stack, and you cannot ask them to change the tech stack. That is something they are working on maybe from 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, or maybe even bit later than that, right? सो यू कैन नॉट आस्क देम टू चेंज. सो आपको नया टेक्स्ट तो याद करना ही है, पढ़ना तो है ही. एंड वॉट एवर द न्यू लैंग्वेज इज, इट्स जस्ट सिंटेक्स, इट्स नथिंग एल्स, right? It's as simple as that. It's just syntax. So what my recommendation is, always go through the theory in whatever language. Hold out one language. For starters, C++ is the best language, easiest language to learn. That's what we do. Usually people
Right.
say it's Python. I'm against Python
Hmm.
because most of, if you look from career perspective, some of the companies don't allow it in their coding rounds and all those stuff, right? I personally prefer that someone should start with C++, but it's not a thumb rule. You can start with any language. At the end, what happens is how good is your programming skills. Once you develop the programming skills, once you're good with that, I guess switching to a new language is hardly 1 week thing. That's just not more than that.
Right. Okay. So, like, thank you for sharing this. And like you said, everybody is right now after Python, and that's a great help because there was a question I saw in the comments that people are asking, what should a beginner choose as their language? So, what would be your recommendation on
C,
that?
C++. Absolutely. No other language is required. You top C, C++, go for competitive programming in that, and that's enough. Once you have good grasp of that, that's my point. Like, language is not a barricade here. Whenever you
Mm,
switch a company, whenever you start a startup, language is never the barrier. In fact, I have a good incidents about that. So the startup, when we switched to product-based startup, we had
right.
to develop an application. We were low on human resources. Obviously, I and one of my friends were part of was a developer over there. So now, how do we make an Android and an iOS application in the given span of time? So we chose Flutter. Now, Flutter was something which I had no idea about, which Priya has no idea about. It's a very pretty new language. Like Dart is a pretty new language. Flutter is a pretty new tech stack out there. But the point was, we have already done enough of Android development on Java. Now, once you do anything on Java, you can write so much code on Java, you don't have to worry about another language. Whatever it will
Right.
come will be definitely smaller and a compact, but all you need to do is you must have a good understanding of mobile app development, how the framework works, how the lifecycle goes, and all those stuff. So switching on to languages will never be an issue for you. The good you are in the basics, the better it is for you.
Right. So, like everybody is into coding these days, we see there are advertisements of coding, like join our coding institute. So, do you think coding will be a profitable field in the coming future? Like it will be more profitable in the coming years?
100%, 100%. No doubt about that. I'm not sure how good will those platforms do who provide it. I'm not going to comment about that, but coding is something which will stay for long. Like people might say that AI will replace humans and all those stuff, but that's way too ahead in the future. Way too ahead.
Got it. So,
Seriously.
like, is there something in mind that we should keep before learning a new language? Like, if somebody has no idea, he's or she's a beginner and he wants to pick a language, so what should he or she keep in mind?
That's an extremely good question, actually. That's one. So start is the toughest thing to do. Like
Mm,
that's the rule of C, like computer science, right? Start is always
right.
beat anything, beat app development, beat web development, beat ML, beat AI. Starting a new language, beat JavaScript, beat Java, beat C, C++, beat Python. Start is a tough. So how do you get that right? Again,
Mm,
stick to the basics. Go for the life cycle events. I'll always recommend this. Go for the life cycle events. Whenever you start a new tech stack, ठीक है? So यूजुअली क्या होता है कि आप जब जावास्क्रिप्ट चालू कर रहे हो, जावा चालू कर रहे हो, ठीक है, हमने बता दिया void main है, void main के अंदर कोड लिखना है, कोड होकर चल जाएगा.
right.
Change क्या होगा आपका? The way you call maybe functions,
Mm,
that will change. The way you name classes, that might change. The way you define functions, that might change. The way you define a variable, that might change. वो आपके लिए इशू नहीं है. ठीक है, आप इंट सी लिखो, या फिर जैसे कि हम अभी टाइप स्क्रिप्ट में लिखते हैं कि आपने एक वेरिएबल का नाम दे दिया, तो वार वार ABC, देन कोलन, एंड देन वट एवर यू टाइप है, फॉर एग्जाम्पल इंटीजर है तो इंट डाल दिए. That is
right.
fine. That is not a problem for you. The problem for you is when you open a already maybe a GitHub code or a open source platform का आपने code खोला and you see, okay, 1,000 फाइल्स का code है. Where does this thing start from? How do I know where does it start from? Look for the life cycle. Go on Google. Where does React start from? It will always start from your myapp.js or whatever you give your as a startup file, and then over there will be an index function. वो हमेशा वहीं से start होगा. Flutter आपका जो भी होगा वो main.dart से चालू होगा. You look for those and then find the flow in that. कि ठीक है, अब ये किस फंक्शन को कॉल कर रहा है, अब ये किस फंक्शन को कॉल कर रहा है. ओके, if this is calling in stateful widget, what's a stateful widget? अगर आप React करते हो तो React में you will find डिड रेंडर फंक्शन मिलेगा, तो रेंडर फंक्शन लोड करता है, रेंडर के पहले इनिट स्टेट आता है, इनिट स्टेट आप वहाँ पे डिफाइन करते हो चीजों को. तो गो थ्रू दैट फ्लो कि पहले इनिट स्टेट, फिर डिड डिपेंडेंसीज अपडेट, देन इसके बाद आएगा रेंडर फंक्शन. सो हाउ दिस फ्लो गोज, गो थ्रू दैट फ्लो एंड थिंग्स विल स्लोली क्लियर आउट. गिव योरसेल्फ टाइम, हैव पेशेंस, बिकॉज एक दिन में सबको समझ में आने लगता तो आप यहाँ नहीं होते, ऑब्वियस सी बात है.
Right.
यू विल बी टीचिंग पीपल. अगर एक दिन में समझ सबको नहीं आता, ठीक है, हो सकता है कुछ लोग होंगे जिनको आता होगा, दैट्स अ गुड थिंग. डोंट कंपेयर कि ठीक है आपके फ्रेंड को आ गया आपको नहीं आया. आपको नहीं आया, आपको 5 दिन बाद आएगा, लेकिन आएगा. आप लगे रहो उसमें. ना इतने रिसोर्सेज अवेलेबल हैं, यूट्यूब पे है, यूडेमी पे है, कोर्सेरा पे है, एडेक्स पे है. फ्री सोचते हो तो edX and YouTube are free, completely free. Go use them. Go use them. Don't run after the certificates of edX. You don't need a certificate. If you have good enough knowledge, your certificate won't be asked. Don't worry about that. So go to the flow. Debug code. Debugging code is one of the best things you can do to learn a particular project or a thing, or is whenever you start anything. So ये demo project download करो. Whenever you run an application, debugger, you can just Google how to debug an Android app, how to debug a website. Just Google that. How to debug a React project. You'll get all the steps. Put a debugger. See wherever the code is going. You'll know okay, अच्छा इसके बाद हमें चाहिए यही follow and so on.
Right. Like, thank you for explaining it in so much depth. I am sure that people are right now clear about like how should they choose a language. So is it okay if I pick some questions that are coming in the live right now?
Yeah. I'd
Yeah.
love to answer
So
that.
there is a question, how to manage competitive programming and development together.
You can't. It's as simple as that. You have to choose one. So see, whenever you go for, by the way, who asked this? If I may ask, who was it?
This question was asked by Vrihasa Pathak.
Okay, every year. Okay, so whenever you do this, it's as simple as that. You need to choose one, right? एक minimum requirement होती है कि if you want to get into an MLG, एक minimum requirement है कि आपको इतना coding, इतना basic competitive programming आनी चाहिए. You need to have a certain level of competitive. So that you need to do. After that, at the end, developing projects help. That's all.
Right. So there is another question on competitive programming by Amrita. It's how were you consistent with competitive programming?
I wasn't, to be very honest. What I did was I just liked to participate in the competitive challenges that happened on CodeChef. That was long lunchtime and this what was that? There was long lunchtime and there was one cook-off. Yeah, that was it. So I and one of my friends used to participate into that as readily as possible whenever that happened, no matter what was the time and whatever we had. We even be just before exams because we enjoyed that. So yeah, that's how I did it.
Right. So there is another question. For a beginner, is Rust best for system level programming?
Is what?
Rust.
Okay, I haven't used that, so no comment. Sorry for that.
Yeah, even I have heard the name for the first time, so I have no idea. Yeah, so moving on, we'll take more questions. So coming to job opportunities, so what should one practice to land up a job in an MNC?
Okay. Can you repeat the question? I zoned out.
Like coming to the job opportunities, like we talked about language and coding. So if one wants to take up a job in MNC, how should one practice for that?
Yeah, cool. That's a good question. So as I said, for landing and particularly in an MNC, if you want, there are two aspects of it of Vrihas asked, what Vrihas asked. First is competitive programming. So the initial rounds will be of competitive programming no matter what company it is, right? It will ask for it. So you need to practice that a lot. By practice that a lot, I already have a blog on my Medium. You can check it out. I'll share the links later on. So in that, what I mentioned is you need to cover basically few things, right? That would be linked lists that will be asked. There will be trees, there will be graphs, and if you go to some companies like Amazon or maybe Uber, all the stuff, then you will go into DP recursion and all those stuff, right? You'll definitely fall into that. So that you'll have to practice at a very good level. Reason being, if the interview happens, like offline interviews happen, which I hope it will be soon. So in that case, you will be asked to solve those questions. As simple as that. You'll be given a question and you'll be given a pen and a paper and you'll asked to solve those questions. So first is that. Second is whenever you do that in front of your interviewer or whatever, think out loud. I always say this, that think out loud. This was one of the tips that was given to me by my seniors and it helped me. Think out loud. Whatever you have in your mind, whenever you're writing down a question, say they have given you a particular competitive programming DSL question, you're writing it down, you're solving, think out loud. See what your thought process is. What they want to know is not whether you solved it or not, but what your thought process is, how you optimize solutions. So even if you have the most optimal solution in your mind, don't just put it out outrightly. Go with the
Right.
least one. Start with O of n square, right? Then move it to log n, and then finally whatever the least possible complexity that can be possible. So show them that you optimize your solution. Don't just jump right away into the optimal solution. That would be one thing. Moving on to the second part, live projects. If you have projects,
Mm.
good. If you can have live projects, that is even better. That brings confidence in your interviewer that you are capable of working on something that is going to be live. Because whenever you join a company, you'll work on things that will be live. It won't be
Right.
a normal. So the only difference between a not a live and live project is that you learn things that are not theoretical. Because when you make an application, it works on your phone. When you make an application to release out there for everyone, it will crash in some, it will have a completely disturbed layout in another phone, and so on. So when you gradually make it for every user, your coding habits refine, your development process refines. Second will be that.
Right. Right. So we
These
have a
will be, I
question
guess, enough.
on project only. How
Yeah.
to get ideas to develop more projects? It's
I
asked by
guess
Kshitij. Yeah.
okay. I guess it was codemonk.io or yes, it was codemonk.io where you can find some good projects. And if not, then I'll say Google. I mean, that's the best thing you can do. And if even that not, if you're not interested in Googling, maybe make out your own project that you always wanted to build, not in a form of a startup, but yeah, just build it and put it out to people for using free of cost. Maybe that will help you a lot.
Right. So next is how to keep the motivation for competitive programming.
That's a tough one, man. I remember. So it's difficult when you go up to a level and then the problems start getting difficult and you're not able to solve it anymore. That happens a lot, and just believe that you will overcome that. That is definitely there. If you practice more, you will overcome that. And this is the problem which everyone faces. Trust me. And
Right.
maybe 70 or 90% people just stop competitive here, and I was one of them, to be very honest. So 70 stop there, and the rest go out and try it. If you go into the this category, the less popular category, you'll definitely succeed.
Right. So next question for you is like since there are so many resources and courses out there that help you prepare for a job or placement. So like how should one use them to get a job in an MNC?
Hmm. I have not personally taken any course, right? So I'm not sure on that. But what I can tell you is instead of doing a few courses, what you can do is reach out to your favorite companies, right? Now, I don't want you to specifically prepare for a particular company,
Mm.
but say, example, you have 10 companies that you really want to go to. Take 5 employees out of there. You'll easily find them. You'll find ample of them on LinkedIn. Just ping
Right.
them, ask them what is expected because, and find someone like SD3 or senior software engineer because those people actually take the interviews. Ping them and ask them what is expected to be SD1 or a fresher software engineer at your company. They'll pinpoint what exactly they want, right? And that's the best thing you can do. So that would be my recommendation. Just go out on LinkedIn, make full use of it, ask them, ping them what they want. You'll message 10, hardly one will reply, I think so, right? So
Right.
make your message very crisp. Uh, say hi, say name. Now is a difficult time, so ask how they are, and then tell them that you're interested in the company. You found his or her profile to be good because that's how you're reaching out to him, and then whatever your question is. So that should help you. But yeah, again, according to I guess I don't know. According to your question that you asked,
Mm.
which course? I'm really not sure which course because I have not used any. So like recommending would be like just answering in random, but I don't know how to do. Yeah.
Right. So Nimish has a question on this. He's asking what are your thoughts on self-learning versus paid coachings?
Self-learning period
Like why do you
always.
think it's better?
It's difficult. It's difficult to do
Mm.
that way, but nothing worth comes easy. Let's be honest. So when you do it ना you तो क्या होता है, it's very simple. आप कोर्स पेड कोर्स करोगे, they'll tell you each and everything. I'm not saying any paid courses are bad or anything. They are good. एकदम outlined रहेंगे, very perfect. But that's the problem. They are perfect. What you do is when you come out and आप बाइनरी सर्च करते हो, बाइनरी लगाते हो, तो आप 5 जगह गलत होगे. क्यों गलत होगे? देखिए आपने पहले तो कॉर्नर केस का भी ध्यान ही नहीं दिया, तो आप कॉर्नर केस लगाओगे नहीं उसमें. आप उसके लिए वही लगा, आप रिकर्शन में फंसोगे, आप इन्फिनाइट लूप में फंसोगे, आप रन टाइम एरर में फंसोगे. तो जब आप ग्रेजुअली चीज सॉल्व करोगे ना, तो आगे जब कोई भी कॉन्सेप्ट आएगा, आगे जब कोई भी प्रॉब्लम आएगा, आप कभी उसी में फंसोगे नहीं. What will happen when you do a course is they'll tell you an exact piece of code that will always run. Now, what you have done is you have seen that piece of code, you have wrote it and you have done with it. Next time when a runtime error comes, you have no idea why the runtime error came. Now, at this point of time, when you put the binary search on yourself, there were 1,000 problems that came along, and now you exactly know कि ठीक है, अगर array 5 लेंथ का है, मैं छठवा कर रहा हूँ, तो array out of bound exception आएगा. You'll learn that particular सी कि भाई हाँ यही आएगा. In fact, even if you go to code such as an error called SIG, SEGV, I have learned that code because I've got that many times. I've frustrated myself on getting why is that problem coming. So once you do that, you learn 10 things that you would never learn in a particular given course. So when you self-learn, आप 5 चीज गूगल और करोगे, उन जब 5 चीज गूगल करोगे तो 10 चीज और पढ़ने मिल जाएगी. स्टैक ओवरफ्लो पे, कोड फोर्स के ब्लॉग्स पे, हैकर रैंक के ब्लॉग्स पे. सेल्फ लर्निंग ऑलवेज.
Right. Thank you for answering this. So, like if someone as a fresher is in the development field, so which companies he or she should target?
That depends on him or her, I guess. It's nothing for me to say. It depends on what exactly you want, right? I'll give you a balance out of few things. I'll clear out few myths as well. People say there's no learning in MNC, right? It's hoax. It depends on what team you get, right? You might get an internal team, you might get an external team. It's a luck factor maybe, but they are not paying you lakhs of rupees to just do something very silly, right? They will need good work and you will do that. So it's a hoax that MNC में learning नहीं है. ठीक है? Now most of the people start up because they say कि MNC में 9 to 5 की जॉब है, बोर हो जाएंगे. आप स्टार्टअप चालू करो, आप मॉर्निंग 9 से रात 9 तक काम करोगे. तो आई डोंट नो हाउ टाइम फॉर यू गाइज वर्क्स, बट फॉर मी 9 to 9 इज 12 hours and 9 to 5 इज 8 hours. तो किसमें ज्यादा लगती है वो आप डिसाइड कर लो. ठीक है, तो ये तो होगी इसकी बात. नाउ इफ यू वांट टू चूज स्टार्टअप वर्सेस दिस, तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थिंग इज गो थ्रू ग्लासडोर के रिव्यूज पढ़ लो, क्या है जो भी ये सब. नाउ देयर आर 3 फैक्टर्स व्हिच आई डिवाइड. पहला है वर्क कल्चर. अगर वर्क कल्चर अच्छा है, यू विल लव दिस प्लेस. ठीक है. अनदर वुड बी लर्निंग कर्व, क्योंकि आपके हाथ में नहीं है वो. दैट विल डिपेंड ऑन टीम आपको जो मिल रही है, ऑल दिस. सो लेट्स फॉरगेट अबाउट इट. अगर लर्निंग कर्व एकदम फोकस्ड हो कि पहले 5 साल सिर्फ सीखना है, कुछ नहीं करना है, आंख बंद करके गो फॉर अ स्टार्टअप. ठीक है. स्टार्टअप में टीम्स आर स्मॉल, यू विल गेट बिग चांस ऑफ वर्क वेयर यू विल लर्न इमेंसली. ठीक है. तो अगर एकदम प्योर लर्निंग के पर्सपेक्टिव से अगर आपको जाना है, तो आप स्टार्टअप जाओ, नो डाउट. स्टार्टअप बाय स्टार्टअप आई मीन जहाँ पे 25-30 एम्प्लॉइज हो, 50 एम्प्लॉइज हो. स्विगी इज नाउ नॉट अ स्टार्टअप, डोंट गेट मी रॉन्ग. स्विगी इज नॉट अ स्टार्टअप, नाउ इट्स बिकम एन एमएनसी कंपनी राइट नाउ, हैज $700 million फंडिंग. तो 700 मिलियन की सीरीज जे फंडिंग मिली है, तो दैट मीन्स वो बहुत अलग लेवल पे है. तो इट्स नॉट अ स्टार्टअप राइट नाउ. ठीक है. A very small startup, maybe 30 to 50 या 30 to 100. अगर 100 employees with, that's not a very big startup. ठीक है. तो आप 100 employees तक के स्टार्टअप में जाओ, वहां आपको लर्निंग बहुत ज्यादा मिलेगी. MNCs में it will depend on how much you want to take on yourself. अगर आपको अपने पे काम लेना आता है, तो you will get ample amount of learning there as well. I think is obviously the monetization factor. आपको किस लेवल पे monetization चाहिए. If you want extremely good monetization, extremely good perks, you need to search for those companies, right? And culture, obviously. So if you want to work in a proper cultured company, so you will have to balance out a few things. You either have a very good culture and average monetization, or you can have an average culture and a good monetization. Those things cannot be like together, right? So yeah, that would be there, and then you can choose your.
Right. Got it. So we have one question: how to get started with open source development?
Oh, okay. I don't have an experience in this. I have not I've never worked on, I never contributed to an open source development, but one of my juniors, his name is Viren Khatri. Again, I asked him to uh, write a blog for the same purpose because I haven't had a chance to contribute in an open source platform. As I
Right.
remember the blog, I can answer the way through that and then share a link later on. So as I remember, what he said was clarify the problem. Like you first need to go through a particular open source repository, go through it a lot, find a smaller piece of code where you can actually find any bug or if you have anything. Be very sure about it. Take as small as possible if you're starting. You can take on big problems once you are pro in that, but yeah, start with very small things. If you find a particular thing or that, now you need to confirm a few things. What I suggested, just confirm a few things with the developers over there maybe, and if not, raise a PRN. They'll clarify things. Okay, we don't want this. We want this kind of solution. Then you'll need to make a proper README file, I guess, for explaining what your changes are, and then follow a particular coding standards that you can
Mm-hmm.
find anywhere on Google. That would be totally regarding the tech stack. If you're contributing to an application like Android or iOS application, that will have different sets of coding standards, then React JS, then Vue.js, and all the stuff, whatever tech stacks you are contributing
Right. Got it. Thank you for answering this. And next is from Harshita. She's asking an advice for pre-final year BTech students who's going to final year in 3 months.
code as much as you can. Competitive programming, do competitive programming because that's what counts in your initial rounds. I'll say you cannot show your projects, you cannot show anything about yourself until you have cleared that round, right? So yeah, just go for it. So the way we go for competitive programming in short of 3 months or 6 months is what you can do is go on Code Forces. On the right, you can see the difficulty level. Start with 500, put start is a from and to difficulty level, put 500 as difficulty level. Solve 5 or 10 questions. If they seem pretty easy to you, switch that level next to 600 to 600. Now again solve. There will come a point where say 1000 where you won't be able to solve questions that easily or you'll get stuck quite a lot. Solve more questions over there, maybe 20, maybe 30 questions over there, and then increase again your level by 1100 and 1100 by 100. Do this and maybe your competitive will grow out and yeah, you can I guess excel in competitive. Then you need to have a few good projects to like tell about. I forgot the most important thing. I hope you guys, if you're in third year, you might or might not have done an internship. If not,
Mm-hmm.
start one right away. Be it work from home because it will be work from home from now on. To start doing work from home internships, that will actually give you insights of how industry works. First thing. Second thing is that gives you a true exposure of what it is to code in a particular company. And third and foremost, you get a lot of things to talk about in your interviews at any college placements or campus placements.
Right. Got it. So, last question from my side, and then we can take more audience questions. So, since it's pre-final year for me and including a lot of students that are watching right now, and we will be soon having our placements. So, what do you suggest we should go for, like general college placements, or we should focus on a particular company?
Never focus on a particular company. I always say this to everyone. There's no use of actually doing that because however anyone says it's 99% your hard work, I totally agree, but there's 1%, not exactly the luck factor, but that particular time coordination factor, which will totally depend on the interviewer and not. Okay. And if you're specifically preparing for that one company, you are risking everything on that one person. What if that doesn't happen? I am a very optimistic person. I don't like to say this thing, but what if that doesn't happen? Nothing will happen. You just get depressed, and then for the rest of the companies as well, since you're prepared for that one particular company, you will be eventually rejected by all of those as well. So what you can do is go for a general structure. All companies will definitely ask competitive, go for it. All companies will look for your internships. If you have, go for it. All companies will want a project, go for it. Once you have these things, now 2 days before a company, what you can do is open Geeks for Geeks and just go through all the questions that company particularly asks. That you can do. But that needs to happen only when there's 2 days or one day left. if there's a 3 month or 1 month left and you're still going through Geeks for Geeks or lead code or all the stuff, I don't recommend you solving a particular set of questions for a very particular company. That's not a good thing to do.
Right.
That's done. When 2 or 3 days are left, like literally go through everything that's there in Geeks for Geeks. You'll definitely hit 5 questions in the interview from them. I'm pretty sure, because they have a very good set of questions out there. That will definitely help you. But do it when you have cleared up maybe the coding and all this stuff, and it says that you have an interview tomorrow or day after tomorrow. Then go for Geeks for Geeks.
Right. So, next question is from Nimish. He's asking role of competition in programming journey.
Role of competition, like as in competitive programming or other peer competitors?
Like competition, yeah, peer competition.
It doesn't matter, bro. Be very honest. It really doesn't matter. Like, बहुत opportunities सबके लिए, ठीक है. The reason some like आप नहीं जा रहे हो अभी की इंडस्ट्री में, आप थर्ड ईयर में, आप फोर्थ ईयर में हो, सेकंड ईयर में हो, यू नॉट डन एनी इंटर्नशिप, वहां जाके एनीवेज नो वंस गोना आस्क व्हिच कॉलेज यू आर फ्रॉम, आपकी कोड शेफ पे क्या रेटिंग है, आपकी कोड प्रोसेस पे क्या रेटिंग है. नो वंस गोना आस्क यू दैट. नो वंस गोना नो आपने कहाँ इंटर्नशिप की, आपके 5 प्रोजेक्ट, आपके 10 प्रोजेक्ट हैं. ऑल इट मैटर्स इज ड्यूरिंग द टाइम ऑफ इंटरव्यू दे विल आस्क क्वेश्चंस एंड यू नीड टू आंसर देम. That's everything. Whenever a company comes up, it doesn't come up with a mindset of hiring 5 people or 2 people or 10 people. They want to hire people who are worthy of it, right? There might be few companies, I might not know that, there are few companies who might come up with a particular number, but most of the companies don't come up with a particular number. They'll come up to you, they'll have a minimum threshold कि भाई ये बंदा 5 में से कम 4 क्वेश्चन बताए इंटरव्यू में, बाकी 3 क्वेश्चन सॉल्व कर ले and all those stuff. If you're clearing that, I think competition doesn't matter.
Right. Got it. So next question is from Soumya, and she's asking, should we start a startup or join any good product-based company?
Again, it depends. It's a difficult question to answer. I would like to explore the third option. Why not do that both? Join a product-based company. After the evening, you have all the time in the world. Work on a startup. It will like literally burn you down. But yeah, I mean, when you think your startup has grown to something and it needs like 24 hours of your day or 12 hours of your day, or you cannot manage your company anymore, then definitely leave the company. That's not an issue. But up until you are there, why just do both? That's it.
Right. So the advice is to go for both.
Yep, 100%.
So next question is from Yash, and he's asking, how about using Java for competitive programming?
You can definitely do that, but I've seen quite a lot of people doing that. But sometimes what I have found out is the same exact logic has passed in C++ and not in Java or Python. Now, I'm not sure whether that is a compiler problem or what it have been, but there have been a couple of instances where the exact same logic has worked on C++, but not in Java and Python. So I always recommend C++. If you are extremely comfortable in Java, then don't switch to any other language. I trust me, if you are able to solve it, just optimize the solution and go for it. But yeah, if you are extremely comfortable, no worries, you can work on Java. But if you're not, if you are like evenly distributed in both the languages, go for C++.
Right. I hope, Yash, that answers your question. Next is from Rishabh, and he's asking how to upskill your coding if you're not from a technical background.
It really doesn't matter if you're a coding background or not. In 11th, 12th, I had a physical education background, right? So it really doesn't matter, man. If you really want to upskill, it's the same process. Go for competitive programming in your initial months, be it 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years. Take your time. That's why I don't want to define time to it. It is different for different people, right? Up until you feel you are good enough, like you have a very good grasp of a particular language, of a particular concept, of particular data structures and algorithms. Once you have that, move your time towards development and go for it. Be it Android, web, ML, whatever you want to do. I never recommend to start with machine learning and AI. I want people to go through basics of web and Android, or maybe either application development basically, and then go to ML and AI. But yeah, it's up to you. But yeah, competitive programming, get comfortable enough, and then jump to development. That should be the part for you.
Right. So next question is from Dhriti, and she is asking, is Java compulsory for cracking a company?
No, no, absolutely not. There might be very specific companies. Obviously, I won't name them.
Mm-hmm.
There are certain very specific companies that want Java. But trust me, out there, that might be 1 out of 100 who explicitly want to do. Again, we are going back to that part where I'm saying, again, that does not matter. Whenever you go, you might have to switch the tech stack. You might have to work. The basics and principles should be very strong. If they're asking you to implement a linked list, they would never ask you to implement a linked list in Java in an interview. They'll ask you to implement a linked list. You can do that in any language. Just do that. You should know the basics of it and should be able to implement it using a array or a structure or a vector.
Right. So Nimish is asking, if you are comfortable, can you tell a little bit about your ex startup journey?
Yeah, I'm comfortable about it. No worries on that. But okay, what particularly do you want to know? If you can comment that out, because it's. I guess I started in the second year. We all of our friends started in the second year, so it's like 3 years now. So what specifically you want to know? That will help me to answer or clarify it.
He just wrote, can we get an idea of your ex startup journey?
Yeah, it was basically initially we started with a service-based startup, right? We
Right.
used to provide all kinds of services like Android app, web development, graphic designing, and digital marketing, basically, all at one place, so that
Mm-hmm.
a particular startup or a company does not have to get these services from different companies. Then this worked out for 2 years. We had some revenue. Then we shifted to product-based startup. We want to have our own products since we already developed quite a few products for others. We wanted to like put in that experience and develop our own. So that was Upstart.life. That was again on basically saving lives of students and empowering their lives. It was regarding a mental health platform because suicides were continuously increasing in our society right now, specifically students, right? It's the
Right.
statistics says that 28 students are committing suicide every day, which is not a
Hmm.
small thing to digest. So we started a startup for that. And if you really want, I just started my YouTube channel called Chat with SK. You can go and subscribe it. And sorry for marketing that out, but since he's interested in that, I and one of my friends are actually telling up how to start a startup while you are being a college student and what was our experience and journey over there. So you can get a very in detail thing in there.
Right. Okay. So we'll provide the link of your YouTube channel so people can check it out.
Yeah.
And next is from Amrita. I have interviewed at a few companies who do not consider candidate good enough because they just know C or C++ and not advanced languages like Java or Python. So how should one deal with that?
Yeah, you don't want to work for that company as well. I had a very similar experience. Again, I cannot name that company, but I've answered all questions. Now the guy says, "Do you know Python?" I said, "No, I worked on C,
Hmm.
C++, Java." So the question
Right.
was, okay, if you were to be asked, how fast could you learn Python? I again said that it's just a syntax thing. It would hardly take me a week to go through it, and then I can start working for you guys. So said, no, we want a Python person because we are working on health machines. I said, okay, I cannot do anything about it. I cannot. And then he, in fact, asked me a question in Python. I then again repeated, sir, I don't know Python. So he said, okay, we need a person for Python. I said, okay, and thank you. And then just drop off the call. You cannot do anything to prove it to them that you can work. It's up to them. Again, as I said, it depends on the interviewer. He's specifically asking for a particular language. Trust me, you don't want to work for that guy or for that company.
Right. So I don't see any more questions right now. So would you like to say like any last piece of advice for all the people who are watching?
Yeah, for first and second year, you have ample amount of time. Enjoy it. I'm not saying just focus on work, but yeah, enjoy it. But do try start coding, I guess. Enjoy coding. Whatever part you love, be it development, be it competitive, it totally depends on your level of interest. For third year and fourth year, it's time to get serious. Just put everything you have into coding if you're looking for placements. If not, if you're looking for startup, then work on your idea. It's the best time to work on your ideas when you are a student. You have no responsibilities. You have nothing to worry about. If it fails, you join another company. If it doesn't fail, you work on your startup. Yeah, enjoy your time and code as much as possible. It's a lovely thing to do.
Right. So Amrita is asking a follow-up question on the one you answered. So can you give me examples of a few companies who do not consider any programming language?
Microsoft for one. I didn't face a
Uh-huh.
particular any question in that. I don't think Google asked either. They have a simple like they have a couple of
Uh-huh.
rounds and then screw it out there. I guess Amazon won't ask you. Uber won't ask you to code in a particular language. None of those companies would ask you in a particular language. Adobe won't ask you to work in a particular language. I don't think so. TCS, Wipro, and any of those companies want you to specifically target one
Mm.
particular language to work on. I don't think Samsung would do it either. None of those companies really want to work for a particular. There are extremely less number of companies that really want a very particular language and a particular tech stack that you might want to work on. And sometimes it's not even just the company; it's just a particular interviewer you get stuck with that wants a particular person to know that particular
Mm.
language. So yeah, don't think too much about that. It's fine.
Right. And last is from Prasoon, and he's asking anything about cybersecurity.
Man, that's a good question. That's the least concern topic in India. I'm not seeing
Mm.
like much courses that are being held in my college or any of the colleges. Triple IT Hyderabad has one good course on cybersecurity. You can check that out. IIT Bombay has some really good course on cybersecurity as well. I guess that these can be found online. If not, you have ample amount of courses on edX and from Stanford and all those colleges, so you can find that. Regarding cybersecurity, it's best to get into a company to like you can read a lot about it. It's not
Mm.
theoretical at all. It's not theoretical
Right.
at all. You need a really good mathematics for that. As far as I'm concerned, I don't have explored it in the extreme depth, but you need an extremely good mathematics for that, and you need to explore such companies and internships where you can actually put in use all those things and try out things that are already there, because theoretically knowing and then just coding on your system doesn't help you. Go into internships. You can find ample internships in uh, I guess foreign companies, and then do a work from home internship and get to learn more about cybersecurity.
Okay. So I'm taking the last question for today. It's by Viren. How much does open source contributions matter to top MNCs?
I haven't heard about anyone asking in a
Mm-hmm.
particularly in an interview if you have made any open source contribution or not. To be very honest, I haven't heard. That might not be the case that they don't ask, but I haven't heard. And but again, I read a Medium blog and it said one of the best practices to improvise your coding skills is to make open source contributions. One way to improvise your coding habits, one way to improvise your coding standards is to have open source contributions. So that does count in, but maybe that is when you have already entered into an MNC. Because after that, you are judged on the basis of your skill sets, how fast you can do a particular job, and how efficiently you can do that, and how good is your code structure. So
Right.
maybe that open source contribution will help you once you enter the MNC and progress
Mm-hmm.
over there. But I'm not sure if it really helps in your in you getting into an MNC. Yeah.
Right. So I don't see any more questions. So I think we can end the session here. And once again, Samvik, thank you so much for joining us and sharing so much of your knowledge and value with us. And I hope that a lot of people got so much like value, and from your experience, they got a lot of knowledge. So thank you so much for joining us today.
Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. You guys are doing a wonderful job helping all the people out there. I hope we both are able to like help others. That's all I want.
Right.
And all the best for your future session.
Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. So,
Yep. Bye.
bye bye. Take care. So, guys, thank you so much for everyone who joined us. So, I will be ending this session soon. So, I hope we answered all your questions. And please follow Geeks for Geeks and all of our social media handles so you get updates regarding our latest events. And we will be coming with more future events. So, please stay tuned for that. And I hope you